ladies, what is an emotional block and how can you resolve it so that you can move towards what you want? I always was very interested in business and wanted success and abundance and freedom and all these things that what business meant to me. But I always felt like I was stuck and something was always getting in the way. And it was because I had an emotional block stopping me from getting those results. So what is an emotional block? An emotional block is a stored negative emotion or limiting belief that is in your subconscious mind that has been formed in childhood or past experiences, and they create the results of our life now. How would you know if you had an emotional block? Basically, you would know if you felt stuck, if you had a bit of confusion and you were lacking clarity, there might be an emotional block. If you were procrastinating or you felt overwhelmed or you were self-sabotaging. Also, if you were creating negative patterns in your life, in your relationships, health, career, finances, or if you were feeling disconnected from yourself, from your emotions and your intuition, then these might all be signs that you have emotional blocks. So some examples in health, for example, if you were having goals of feeling better, looking better, having more energy, having more confidence, and you wanted to work on your health, so you had a program, you had everything there in place, but you kept on starting and then stopping and then starting and then stopping. That might be because deep down you might have some sort of limiting belief or negative emotion around health and food. It could be anything. It could be maybe that you're using food as a comfort source because it was a necessary coping mechanism in your childhood. Or maybe there's resistance to looking better or a certain way because that might mean that you're getting unwanted attention once you look that way. In terms of your relationships, maybe you keep on attracting the wrong person, someone that's not treating you right, because deep down you might feel that you have to work to earn love or earn something healthy, or that you don't deserve a positive, healthy relationship. And that would again go back to your childhood conditioning. In your career, maybe you want to have a business, you're employed by someone else, and you keep on self-sabotaging your journey towards your own business, even though that's what you want because you want that freedom and you want that autonomy, but you keep on self-sabotaging yourself along the way because deep down there might be fear of failure. So all of these situations, there's these deep-rooted patterns that are stopping us from having the things that we actually want. So it's really important to address these limitations. Why is it important? Not only so that you can go after what you really want, but also because these emotional blocks are causing tension in our body. They're not only stopping us from feeling aligned in our life, but internally they're creating disharmony in our bodies. And so releasing is better for us physically and emotionally. Once we release, we can then move towards what we want with more ease and clarity and flow. It won't feel like you're fighting yourself. You won't feel like you need willpower and discipline. You will just be able to move towards what you want because your conscious mind has set the goal and your unconscious mind gets the goal. But if your unconscious mind or a subconscious mind has instructions that go against that goal, then you'll always be fighting with yourself. How do we do this? Well, the first thing is bringing awareness to the block or the resistance. What you want to do is just sit down nice and quietly, get quiet with yourself, get very calm. Nothing will come up for you to heal if you don't feel safe in the moment. So you need to get very calm and safe in the moment. And then you want to think about that thing that you want where you feel resistance. When you feel that resistance, rather than pushing that resistance away, welcome that resistance in. This is different to what we used to. We're used to pushing away bad feelings. And you're going to say thank you because that part actually has a positive intention for you. For example, it's stopping you from failure or it's stopping you from something that it thinks is negative for you based on the instructions in the unconscious mind. So thank that part. Tell it it has a positive intention for you and just have a bit of a dialogue with it. So, you could write this down or you could just do it in your mind. You want to say to that part, what do you want? And then it will likely come out with something in the negative. So it'll likely say, I don't want to be embarrassed, or I don't want to fail, or I don't want to be rejected. And then you can thank that part for being vulnerable and telling you, and then say to that part, well, if that's not what you want, if you don't want that, then what do you want? And then keep asking it that question. What is it that you do want? And eventually you'll get a positive. And it will say, well, it's like, if I don't want to be embarrassed, what do I want? I just want to feel good. And then you can say, okay, well, what does feeling good do for you? What is important to you about feeling good? When I feel good, I feel more connection. So what's happening is you're getting awareness around the higher level values that this part wants. And when you can say, for example, you might come across freedom, peace, love, connection. That's what this part wants. So what you can do then is you say to this part, well, how can we move towards our goal while still honoring these values? I'll give you an example with me in business. I realized that one of my highest values was freedom, but I also had a conflicting belief, because I saw business as being hard and taking up a lot of time. So I thought, how can I still satisfy this need for freedom in my life while still working and putting in the steps to make a business? And that was where strategy came in. So I decided I need to get up, an hour or two early before my baby wakes up in the morning, and work on it then, because then I've got the time to myself to focus, but also I'm most productive in the morning. So I created a strategy where I was able to honor the values of that part. And if we don't do this, we're just going to keep fighting. So it's really important to do this. Create that strategy. Ask yourself, okay, ask that part, okay, part, how can we work towards this goal while still honoring these values that you need in our life? Okay, the next part is the transformational work, which is releasing the root. Where did this come from? This fear around embarrassment, or this limiting belief around, for example, business being so taking up all my time. It's unique to you. So you want to ask yourself, if I were to know when I took on this limiting belief or this negative emotion, what age was I? And you will just allow that age to float up for you. And this is the start of transformational work, such as timeline therapy, which I'm not going to run through on this call, because it's best to do it one-on-one or in a group. And if it's a traumatic memory, things can get a bit out of hand, and you don't want that to happen. But you can start by saying, if I were to know what age was I wouldn't recommend doing this on anything from a 5 to 10. Because you don't want to start to bring up traumatic things when you're not ready for it or not with a coach. But anything below a 5, definitely try it. And then you might find that you remember that when you were 5 years old, your auntie said to you, don't start a business, because business means there's no time. I'm just giving you an example. And then that's the start of the transformational work. So if you do want to go deeper with this, please leave a comment down below, and I'd love to go through this process with you to release these emotional blocks so that you can go towards what you want in your life, whatever area it is. Just remember, you're not broken, you've just got blocks, and blocks can be cleared. Thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to seeing your comments down below, and see you in the next video.